Good evening. Welcome in Daily UPSC Editorial audio program Chronicles of Death, The Times of India. Jaber Jaber shared blame, The Hindu. Now the full editorial. Chronicles of Death, The Times of India. Suicide is a rising trend in India, including among the young. There is not enough official attention on this. National crime data for 2022 is grim reading. Among the grimmest statistics is that the national daily average of suicide was nearly 500. What does this say? Chronic levels of stress remain un, unaddressed. The three big gaps are poor mental health infrastructure, gray areas, irrelevant laws, and taboos that stop people from seeking help. A public health crisis in 2022, a third of all who died by suicide were farmers, daily wagers, over 13,000 students from the other large group. Mental health experts say suicide clusters such as in Kota need niche tactics with continuous psychiatric evaluation and care. Yet, as we saw in Kota, where 23 youngsters have died by suicide this year, authorities opted to ceiling put springs in ceiling fans and nets below balconies. How is that a solution? The laws was righted attempt to suicide. IPC Section 309 was decriminalized with the Mental Health Law in 2017. The new bill BNS to be tabled in Parliament soon has rightly dropped the legal provision altogether. The updated BNS retain abatement notoriously difficult to prove. Convictions tough. On Monday, Supreme Court again said that to convict a person for abatement, his criminal intent and instigation must happen close to the time of the suicide. Questioning a case, Supreme Court said prosecution without such evidence would be nothing but an abuse of the process of law. The problem often is a shoddy police investigation. Where is the support? Survivors need support, long term help. Where do they go when whom circumstances push them to the brink? After all, the data says cause for 32% suicide case was family problems. Residence can be places for both men and women. Prior attempts are a predictor for more attempts. Who does the surveillance? Governments must invest. Indians fall back from family community support for most need financial to personal. Yet a mental health issue is a non-go area. Addressing the taboo on mental distress is a task beyond the capacity of India's network of suicide helpline and support network is still largely privately run by psychiatrists and NGOs. Government networks where they exist are often inaccessible and understaffed. One more data point, nearly 35% of suicide deaths were in the 18 to 30 age group. That's part of the demographic dividend push to that age. Jaber Jabber, cop chief and oil bosses flip flop on fossil fuel, so switching to clean fuel won't be easy. The eliminating fossil fuel is tough to clear from COP28. The current COP president Sultan Al Jaber, who is also the boss of Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, said there was no signs showing that the phase out of fossil fuel was going to limit warming. There was an uproar. Al Jaber backtracked, but his flip-flop points to important questions. Phase out or phase down. Phase down is not the evil plan. It is made out to be. India introduced the idea of phasing down fossil fuels last year, and 80 nations agreed. In 2021's COP, India China successfully opposed the recommendations of phasing out unabated coal use. But who phases down first? Rich countries fueled climate change, which hurts the global south most. India is a fast-growing economy of 1.4 billion people with aspirations. It can't just decarbonize when energy prices rise. Democracies find it hard to not give fossil fuel subsidies, so the original sinners must pony up cash for the transition. Is there money on the table? COP has agreed on a new global loss and damage fund of 420 million dollar to start with. The UAE committing $100 million, pursuing others. America remains reluctant, though it now produces more oil than any country in history. What else is being done? Companies that account for 40% of global oil output pledged to eliminate carbon from their operations by 2050. But this is only about their own operations rather than the use of their products by customers. A deal to triple renewable energy capacity by 2030 is on COP's agenda. Let's be skeptical about all this because the transition to clean fuel, as we said, is going to be tough. Shared blame. The Hindu cyclone Maikwang alone was not responsible for Chennai's trouble. Ap- ap- Apportioning blame for calamity after a natural disaster is almost impossible, but Indian cities have often tried to ease this decision, and Chennai on December 4th was no exception. Late on December 3, rains began to pummel Chennai as Ceylon Maikwang soon to intensify into a super cyclonic storm, parked itself roughly 100 kilometers east of the city. By the next morning, most areas has recorded more than 120 mm of rain, with the few recording more than 25 mm. The figures represent a breathing volume of water to be delivered in a single day, and which Tamil Nadu Minister of Municipal Administration K. N. Nehru echoed when he said the city has not received as much rain in 7 decades. But this is not the full story. The narrative built around disaster influenced the responses to them, and proclamations that attribute a singularity to the natural calamity often feed an unfair line of reasoning in which nature shoulders all the blame. Just as the rain intensified over Chennai on December 4 morning, the Tamil Nadu Generation and Distribution Corporation Limited shut off power in the city as a precaution, presumably to prevent lost cables from electro cutting pedestrians in dirty water. That such a precaution was required to all speaks volumes about the state of the power infrastructure. There was no quick fix or shortcuts in addressing years of adequate investment in maintenance and repair. Several trees were toppled, water stagnated, and on almost all roads, overhead cables flew loose, and storm water drains were choked with plastic trash. Many trains were cancelled. The airport has to be closed, and there were reports of people being stranded at many locations. Yet, that 2023 was not for 2015 redux is to the cities as well as to the storms credit. The former because of the warning and preparation, more resilient civilian infrastructure, and people's memories of 2015. The the latter because it dumped less water than the 2015 torrent did a single day. The extent to which climate change boosted cyclone Nikwang is for attention science to say, although it would be need to wait for any verdict other than the warmer seas, the feeding stronger cyclones. But the city's ability to respond to such storms has been compromised. Any decades of unplanned construction defiance of zoning, and some form of public indiscipline, especially littering. Expecting the resulting problems to be resolved overnight or even by a single government is reasonable, yet the progress needs to be much faster than it is at present, if only to preclude the need for drastic, only oxymoronic measures such as cutting power supply to guarantee safety. Finally, in Mykong's wake, Chennai can start by doing something it failed to in 2015, uh, treating its sanitation workers, mostly Dalits and Adivasis, better. Thank you.